Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are talking all about glute contact, how you can get the most out of every single glute exercise and glute workout, no matter what, following these 5 things that I have incorporated in this video with video examples as well. A lot of the times we perform certain exercises and you hear us always saying, you know, you should feel it here, you should feel it there, you should really feel the burn here. And a lot of people's response is they do the workout and they're like, I don't feel jack squat. Well, you're not alone, and it is completely normal if you aren't going to be doing some of the things that I'm going to talk about in this video. Now, I do just want to mention that obviously everybody's body responds differently, but these 5 things that I'm going to talk about in this video are really what changed the game for me and really helped me grow my glutes. So if you guys are interested in finding out what the 5 things are, then just keep watching. But first, if you aren't already subscribed, please subscribe down below for new videos weekly, as well as find me on Instagram at HunterChillin, 2 R's, 2 N's. And now let's get into some tips for growing the booty. Alrighty, number 1 is going to be glute activation. I figured I'd start with this one since this one is the one that you want to do before your workout. So basically what glute activation is, if you don't already know, or why you want to be doing it, is because if you work like a full-time job or anything where you are sitting on your bum a majority of the week like most people are, your glutes in simple terms are turned off. So really what this is meaning is when you are sitting on your bum for a long amount of time, what is happening is you're getting a lack of oxygen to those muscles in your glutes. And in turn what that is doing is it is messing with the nerves in your muscles and actually the efficiency on how they work in your glutes. So in turn what your body's natural response is going to be is to overcompensate for your glutes by using your quads or your hamstrings to get that weight up or to perform that exercise, because those muscles and their lack of oxygen, their lack of nerve response and everything else. So what we need to do is get those nerves, get that oxygen back, and how we're going to do that is by rushing blood flow and getting blood flow to that area before we work out. Now when it comes to activating glutes, there are so many different glute activation routines and exercises and workouts that you can do beforehand. I'm going to insert my favorite ones that really help me get my glutes turned on and activated. Now just to mention that you do want to do glute activation mixed with light cardio and a full body stretch before every leg workout and before really any workout. I always suggest doing 5 to 10 minutes of some light cardio and then a full stretch to get your joints lubricated, to get your muscles elongated, and just get your body prepped and ready before you even get into the glute activation or before into your actual workout routine. So just keep that in mind before you see the glute activation. This is after you've already done some light cardio and a full body stretch.
Say the word, say the word.
We should forget about this place, but I don't wanna leave here if you're just gonna stay. Changing like the seasons, been wasting all this time. Should be like satellites cast beyond the sky. Leave our fate for another day. Riding these horizons, we'll find our way. We'll leave our fate and fade into the night. Just follow me to paradise. Just say we tried. Say the word and we can run around the earth and around the sun. Say the word and we can stay. Forget about that better race. And I know you're healing, 'cause I know the feeling. The streets stop breathing. I don't wanna say.
going to be all about the squeeze. Squeezing your glutes throughout the movement or the exercise that you are performing. Whether that is a lunge, a squat, a glute hip thrust, a good morning, anything, you always want to make sure that when you come to a standstill at the ending point of that exercise motion, you want to make sure that you are squeezing your glutes. What this is doing as you are concentrating on squeezing your glutes throughout the motion and ending in a full contraction and squeeze, what that is doing is it is triggering your mind and triggering your body to actually use those muscles to pull that weight up. Your body's job, only one thing for it to do is that when you're telling your body, all right, I am lifting this weight up off the floor, it's just going to use whatever it can to get it up. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's just automatically gonna know to use your actual glutes to get that weight up or to perform that exercise. So by squeezing them throughout the whole entire motion as best as you can and ending in a full contraction, a full squeeze at the end of the movement, what that is doing is that is telling your mind that those are the muscles you're wanting to use to get that weight up to full extension. Basically, when you are coming up, I am squeezing my glutes all the way up to the top to where my butt is literally clenched. And then you're going to slowly release your glutes back down and then squeeze them, lifting the weight back up. That is what is going to get your mind and to get your body into realizing that you're trying to use your glutes to lift this weight and to perform that exercise. The third thing is all about driving through your heel. So I'm sure you've heard me say it before, you've heard other people say it before, and they're always talking about make sure you're driving through your heels when you're performing a glute exercises. The reason you're doing this is because if you think of your foot is like this is the ending standpoint of all that weight you are bearing, whether it's here or you're holding it on your back or wherever you're holding that weight at, your ending standpoint of the weight is here. What people tend to do is they tend to go and put the weight on their toes. And the reason we do this subconsciously or consciously, especially if you're a beginner, because we have the fear of falling backward, especially when we have extremely heavy weight on our back that we are not used to. Or even if you're doing a glute hip thrust and you're trying to push that weight up, we always think to just drive through our toes because it's just what our natural instinct is to do. So when you do this, you're actually putting most of the focus, most of that weight on the front side of you, forcing it forward on top of you, which is going to do what? It's going to activate your quads more so than your hamstrings and your glutes. So what you want to do instead is to have the most of the weight bearing, the heaviest part of your foot feeling is going to be on the ball of your foot. On the back side of your foot is where you want to have most of the weight. Now obviously depending on the exercise you are doing, you can have your feet up like this to where only your heels are on the ground, but when you're doing certain moves like squatting, you want to make sure your foot is still stationary, but that you are keeping the heaviest amount of weight on the back of your heel. Doing this is going to keep your glutes and keep your hamstrings activated to where they are the ones that are helping assist that weight up, push that weight up because you're driving it on the back side of your heel instead of on your toes, which would force your body then to want to use your quads to help lift that weight up more so than your glutes and your hamstrings. The fourth thing that I'm excited to talk about, because it's something that a lot of people just don't really understand, and that is going to be mind-muscle connection. A lot of people have a hard time understanding what it is, and I like to compare mind-muscle connection kind of like when you do like meditation. It's something that you have to practice over and over again, completely be in the zone the whole entire time for it to actually work. So mind-muscle connection, how you're gonna do it is that you wanna be zoned out from everything. You literally wanna be thinking glutes the whole entire time. You don't want to be thinking about anything else, about what you're wearing, what you're eating later, what you're doing this weekend, nothing. You literally want to be in the zone. When you go into that set, whether you are doing a hip thrust or lunge, whatever, is when you're going down, you're thinking, all right, my glutes are going to be pushing this weight up. All right, I'm squeezing my glutes. My glutes are lifting this weight up. All right, my glutes are contracted. My glutes are going through the whole entire motion. Literally, these are thoughts that should be running through your head the whole entire time. And I know to some people that can sound a little bit crazy, but that is how mind-muscle connection works. That's why a lot of people love doing things like meditation, because of how powerful and how strong your mind can be. Well, you need to implement that when it comes into your training. This will just overall help the impact of your entire workout, as well as really get the full contraction in your glutes. All right, and the fifth and final thing to keep contacting your glutes the entire time you're doing glute exercises is going to be resistance bands. I'm sure you guys have seen these before. Now I am specifically talking about these types of resistance bands where they are one complete whole circle, like a large rubber band. But if you do not have these and you have these with the handle straps on, learn to work with what you got. I can make any piece of equipment work for me and what I'm trying to do. Ain't nobody out here trying to go and buy a bunch of new equipment when you're about to leave for the gym and you're trying to get a good glute workout in. So just go ahead and tie it in a knot at the end, and then just go ahead and put this around your legs, and it does the same thing. You might have to hold it still because it will roll, but You guys get the drill. Make it work with what you got. Alrighty, so back to these guys. The reason you're wanting to use these is for one of two reasons. The first reason is obviously going to be just to bump up the intensity of your workout, to make it a little bit more difficult, a little bit more challenging, as well as they really help you with form, which kind of incorporates and goes into the second one I was talking about as to why you would want to use these, which is going to be for beginners. Alert, alert. I'm calling all beginners out there who have trouble with their form or keeping contact in their glutes, especially through like their squats or their hip thrust or anything like that. These will help you tremendously. I'll show you guys an example using my fist. So let's say my fists are my knees, okay? And okay, let's say you're like this doing a workout. Well, what happens is a lot of times when people are lifting excess amount of weights, if these are your knees or your kneecap, what they tend to do is cave their knees inward to help push that weight up. There's so many different reasons as to why this could be happening, but your knees are caving inwards, and that is a no-no. One, that is going to deactivate and not work your glutes as well in the motion. And number two, which is my biggest one, is that can cause severe knee injury. So what you're wanting to do actually is you're wanting to have your knees pushed outwards when you're moving through the motion. That's going to keep the activation in your glutes, and it's going to keep your knees protected. I'm hoping this is like a good enough example, but this is the best I got. So using this, when you have this around your legs, is you're concentrating on pulling this resistance band apart, which what is that doing to your knees? It's keeping your knees pushed outwards the entire time through the entire motion. So that way you are protecting your knees and you are activating your glutes and keeping your body safe and doing the exercise, and your form is correct. Perfecto, awesome. But that is it, you guys, my 5 key tips on how to keep contact in your glutes throughout your whole entire workout. Now there are obviously different little things you can do here and there as well, but these 5 things anybody and everybody can do and should be doing in order to keep the contact in your glutes and get the most out of all your glute workouts. I really hope you guys found this helpful and it helps you guys in your glute growing journey as much as possible. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until the next one, bye guys.